It's the solution. If abstraction is so widespread in our world, how do we fight it? How do we become more empathetic and connected? Because honestly, after hearing all this, I'm feeling a little discouraged.
Don't worry. The good news is Sinek doesn't just point out the problem, he offers solutions. And it's not about ditching technology and going off the grid. It's about being more aware of how we use technology and how it affects our relationships with others.
Okay, so what are some practical things we can do? I'm ready to give my humanity back.
One of Sinek's main suggestions is to prioritize face-to-face interaction. He talks about Dunbar's number, this idea that we can only maintain about 150 stable relationships.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Hmm.
It has to do with how our brains work, right? Like how many social connections we can actually handle.
Exactly. And Sinek says that even though technology lets us connect with thousands of people online, it can't replace those deep in-person connections. You know, those conversations where you can read each other's body language and pick up on those subtle emotional cues? Those are what really build trust and strong bonds.
So it's not about giving up social media or email, but about knowing their limits and making sure we're also spending time connecting with people in the real world.
Exactly. And this applies to leaders too. Sinek encourages leaders to be present with their teams, to have regular face-to-face meetings, and create opportunities for people to just hang out and socialize. He even suggests keeping teams small within Dunbar's number, if possible, to make those connections stronger and communication better.
It makes sense. I mean, how can you really understand and connect with someone if you're only interacting through emails and video calls?
Another important point Sinek makes is seeing the real-world impact of our work. He says that when we feel disconnected from the bigger purpose of what we're doing, it's easy to fall into that abstraction trap, just going through the motions without really engaging with the human side of things.
So instead of just focusing on hitting targets or deadlines, we need to find ways to connect our work to something bigger, to see how it's actually making a difference in people's lives.
Exactly. He gives this example of employees at a bank who felt more fulfilled in their jobs when they heard stories from people whose lives were changed because they got a loan. It helped them see beyond the numbers and connect with the human impact of their work.
That's a great example. It's like instead of thinking, I processed 50 loan applications today, you're thinking, I had 50 families achieve their dream of buying a house or starting a business. That's way more powerful and motivating.
And Sinek says that leaders need to help their teams see that bigger picture to connect what they're doing to the positive impact they're having on the world.